Ayo, what's good everybody? It is time for the start of the climax. That's right, Trackblazer is coming in just 2 days at the time of recording this video. Though at the time you guys are probably seeing this, it's going to come out in 1 day, but for now it is 2. There is a lot to uncover here. This scenario is very, very different from the previous 2 that we have right now. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So, first thing is first. There are no scenario link characters. There are 0 scenario link characters. There were, I think, a couple in the era finale. There's a ton of scenario link characters in Unity Cup UC, but in Trackblazer there won't be any. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Another thing, and one of the major things to keep in mind, is that there are no career races or secret events. So if there is an Uma that has a tough career, then it might be a benefit that you won't have to deal with it. This can be a good thing for Umas that have debuffs that are associated with their career, debuffs that are scripted. I know Goldship has a secret event where she gets a purple skill. But this could hurt a lot of Umas because there's a lot of buffs that some of them get through career events. So do keep that in mind when running this. If you want to raise a runaway Suzuka, this might not be a good scenario to run through. But yeah, instead of career goals and career scenarios, we have goal points. We have like goal posts, so to speak, with grade points. And what are grade points? Grade points are going to be the metric that this scenario is putting upon us in order to progress. And we have certain milestones to meet with each year. So junior year, pre-debut, we need 60 grade points. And then for the classic year and the senior year, we need 300 grade points, so quite a bit. Though if you're running a character like Haru or Kurin, then you won't have as big of a requirement. For Haru, characters with a high dirt, oh my god. Characters with a high dirt aptitude or low turf aptitude will only need 30 grade points instead of 60 at the start. And the third objective will require only 200 points instead of 300. Same with Karin-chan, where hers will be 200 grade GP instead of 300. On top of that, if you have more than enough GP at the end of the year, they will not transfer over. So let's say you're running in classic year and you have 300 GP or grade points, right? You need 300 grade points to progress at the end of the classic year, right? If you have 340 GP, those 40 points will be gone forever. You're not going to see them again. They do not carry over from year to year, so don't expect to don't expect to stock up on a ton of GP just for the sake of having a better end game. It's gonna completely reset with each phase of the run. So yeah. On top of this, we're also going to get shop coins. And shop coins, they're indicated by this little thingy here, and the GP is indicated by this thingy here. And if you couldn't tell already, grade points are achieved through running races. And as we see here with the requirements and the amount of points that races are going to give us, you're going to be racing a lot more than usual. Though you might not want to race solely for the purpose of this. There's other points to running races, such as the shop coins, which is going to give us a lot of really helpful resources. And as you can see, the amount of GP and coins that we get scale depending on our placement for the shop coins. And for GP, it scales depending on the grade of the rig. So for example, G1 gives us gives us a big hundo, G2 80, all that stuff, right? And the shop coins is what brings us to the shop, the special shop. This is where we get the scenario specific items. This is like one of the main gimmicks of the scenario, where we get to exchange shop coins for various different items, and they all do different things. They can give you stats, they can raise bond, they can increase training effectiveness, all that kind of stuff, to compensate for the lack of training. And as you can see, this is what the shop icon is going to look like. Sometimes it'll even have a sale with its own set of items that you will have. The base rotation will have like it'll have a randomized lineup of items that will refresh every 6 turns. But sometimes there will be a sale with limited items that have its own separate rotation. And sometimes there'll even be a 10 to 20% discount on coins. So that's going to be good. And there will be an extra button where we can access using these items at any point, whether it's in the shop itself or during the main career menu, it looks like. So yeah, they'll be easily accessible. And here are some of the items that we are going to have. It looks like there are, we got a notepad, we got folders, and we got these ancient scrolls of infinite power, or whatever. These look like they're like Sonic's Chaos Emeralds. Is this the Chaos Emeralds of the Umaverse? Maybe. But there's a color for each stat. There's a version of a notepad, folder, and scroll for each stat. The notepad gives +3, folder gives +2, +7, and the scroll gives +15, with the notepads costing 10 points, 10 coins, folder costing 15, and 30 for the scroll. I mean, at least this looks like this might be a folder. I don't know. What does the translation say? It's a manual. Okay. Wow! It's a manual. My bad. It's a manual. So we got the notepads, the manuals, and the scrolls. But yeah, these are going to be pretty good and pretty useful. So I would say a good strategy would be to stock up on these. And then we have energy and motivation items. So we got what looks like energy drinks. These are vital signs with incremental energy gains. So the little one, that's +20. The slightly bigger one, +40. And then this big bottle here gives 65. And then there's this. It looks like a wheatgrass shot. It looks disgusting. It's called Royal Bitter Juice, at least the translation. It gives you 100 energy, so basically a full restore for energy, but it reduces your mood by 1. So you want to pair this with this item, the plain cupcake, which will bring your mood back up by 1. There's also the more decorated cupcake, which is the stronger version of the cupcake, which gives you +2. Generally, from what I heard, this is pretty much pointless. It's kind of like overflow. Maybe if you fail a training, this could be a good item to use. If you get the dreaded "don't overdo it" event, this might be a good pickup. We also have the soft drink here, the soda. Yeah, it's actually called energy drink. Okay. So we got vital signs, the shot, and the energy drink. The energy drink increases max energy by 4, increases energy by, and gives you 5 energy, and then the big one gives you max 8 energy. I heard this item is doo-doo fart. Stay away from this item. It doesn't really, it's not going to really be useful all that much, unfortunately. Not unlike this item down here, which is for a bond, we got the Carrot Barbecue set, which raises all of your support card friendship gauges by 5, which is going to be very, very important. Especially in the early game, this is going to be one of the most important items. Then we have the Akigawa bond item, which is the tuna can. Raises Akigawa's bond by 5, which is the director. Generally, this isn't going to be very useful because racing will already increase her bond, so yeah. The most useful one's definitely going to be the barbecue set. Then we have good condition items. We have the mirror, which gives charming, the binoculars, which gives hot topic, the booklet. What is this? The practice booklet, which gives you practice perfect, and the graduation hat, which gives you fast learner. So pretty good to be able to guarantee these positive effects. Then we got the healing effects. We have this. This is a pillow. It looks like. You know, we got Sleepy Pillow. This heals Night Owl. We have the planner, which heals Slacker. We have Lotion, which heals Skin Outbreak. We have, this is a meal diet plan, Slim Scanner, which heals the slow metabolism. We have this humidifier of some kind, incense maybe, aroma diffuser. Okay, that heals migraine. We got practice DVDs. This cures practice poor, and we got what is this? Health juice. And this is basically like the elixir, the mega elixir, the full heal. It heals all of your status effects. This is probably going to be the best pickup out of all of these, just to cover all of the bases. Though the fact that the other ones are so cheap and are pretty specific, that one is also good. Though having at least 1 or 2 of these is probably going to be the most useful. Then we got the training facility ones. These will level up training facilities. Now, it'll cover this later on, but training facilities are gonna level up in a similar fashion to the era finale, where you train in that facility 4 times and it levels up. But you can accelerate that by using these items, which will guarantee a level. So if you need a training facility at a specific level sooner rather than later, you can buy one of these and get your speed training facility up by 1, which is going to be pretty good. There's one for stamina, power, guts, wisdom, wit as well. And then we have the reset whistle, which is going to shuffle support card distribution. I feel like this is going to be a game changer for summer, because if you're dealt a bad rotation during summer where there's no rainbows, you could pop this and you could potentially get a very good situation off that, which is really nice. And then we have training effectiveness items. The little mega horn. The little horn increases training effectiveness by 20%. This one by 40%. The last one, the small one, is for 4 turns. This one is by 3 turns, and then the megaphone increases training effectiveness by 60% for 2 turns. Then we have the 1-turn version, which is facility specific. No wit one though. I guess it kind of makes sense. Why would you wear anklets, ankle bands, or weights to a library? It doesn't make any sense. Then we have the prayer amulet, which resets failure rate to 0. This is going to be like super important, especially for summer, because one of the biggest problems during summer is running out of energy and dealing with failure rate for the whole 4 turns you're in summer camp. So having this is going to be very helpful. now we have items for race bonuses. So we got one that boosts race bonus by 20%, one by 35%, and one by 50. All of these are for one turn, by the way. One thing to note about most of these items, not the stat items. These are permanent, and you can use these, to my knowledge, as many times as you want. Same with the energy ones, energy and motivation ones, and the bond ones. So these items, the ones that are of multiple turns, you cannot stack them. If you try to use this one, which gives you 20% training effectiveness for 4 turns, if you try to use this item, it will override this one. So you will instead get 60% for 2 turns instead of 80%. Like it would if it did stack. So another thing is that if you popped this and wanted to use this, the game will just straight up not let you do that. You cannot use a weaker grade item after using a high grade item. So that's just not going to work. At least for the turn, the multiple turn items. The rest of these, to my knowledge, will just function as normal items regardless. Obviously, the stats are permanent. The energy will just give you energy until you use it, and the mood will persist. The mood boost will persist unless there's a mood down, whether you fail a training or whatever. Same with the bond items as the stats. The bond items are permanent. The good conditions will persist until you get the negative version of that condition. So if you have practice perfect and fail a training, you will get practice poor. It will replace it with black. It will replace it with practice poor. So do keep that in mind if you're going to use these. Apparently there's also a thing called the fast learner curse, where it could inhibit your training rolls for some turns, which is gonna suck. So I guess use these condition items with caution if that's the case. But that's not the only gimmick. The items aren't the only thing in this scenario. We're gonna have rivals, and they will randomly show up at any given point during any turn on any race. And you will see the icon look like this. And there's Haru, he's adorable. And when you win against a rival, let me see. When you win against a rival, you will get a random skill hint for a skill that pertains to the kind of race or running strategy that you used. So for example, if you are running on like a long distance track against a rival and you win, you could potentially get something like long straightaways or another type of long distance skill. Or if you were using like the pace chaser running strategy, you could get a pace chaser skill, stuff like that. And yeah, rivals are entirely random, it looks like. And then finally, at the end of senior year, there is one final trial that we have to do, which is the Twinkle Star Climax. Essentially, this is this scenario's version of the era finale, which is done in both the same named scenario and UC. But this one functions differently. If anyone's played Mario Kart, it's basically that. Where instead of it being an elimination tournament like the era finale, you instead go through 3 races where you get points. And the amount of points you get is based on your placing. And the winner is determined by whoever has the most points. So as you can see here, we have Vodka beating Oguri Kappa by about 2 points. As you can see, she placed 3rd in the first race, 8th in the second race, and 1st in the final race. Which is funny, because that's the opposite, almost the complete opposite of what Oguri Kappa placed in. So you don't have to win every single race, which is good. You just have to get the most points. So, yeah, just like Mario Kart. Luckily, there won't be any blue shells or thunder clouds inhibiting our Uma's ability to run. Yeah, and here's the victory point stuff. You get this amount. You get first, you get 10 VP, second 8, and so on and so forth. Apparently you don't get any if you place in 14th or worse, so be careful. Looks like this is going to be a huge roster race. Now, if you win the TSC, the Twinkle Star Climax, you will get Radiant Star. So, control breathing and kick forward at the second half of the race. Effects increased in proportion to the number of career wins. So, special scaling. The multiplier scales with the number of race victories you achieve during training. So, wow, this seems like it's going to be a pretty strong skill if you've been running consecutively throughout your run. So, oh wow, it increases speed, acceleration, and it recovers stamina. Base value is 3.5% for stamina recovery, 25% speed, and 30% acceleration. That's crazy. Very strong skill to have. Glittering Star is the base version of the skill, the white version, which can be achieved through various training events. And we will get to the training events with the skill up. The unique skill level up. So unlike the Era finale and the Unity Cup, there is no Valentine's Day, there's no there's no holiday, there's no fan fest, there's nothing like that. Instead, at the end of the year, there is the Uma of the Year event, and Akigawa will pick a Uma to be Uma of the Year. And if she picks your Uma, you will get a hint for Glittering Star, as well as a level for your unique skill. Whether or not she picks you depends on your bond with her. So in junior year, she'll pick you if you have 1 stock in her friendship gauge. Classic year, she'll pick you if she has 2 stocks. And by senior year, she'll pick you if she has 3 stocks. Now, since you can level up her bond by racing, this shouldn't be too hard. Here's the training values, the default training values when there's no supports, all that stuff. Yeah. Again, no career events actually proc. Career events don't proc. So if your Uma benefits from that, this scenario is going to be a little bit of a detriment to them if they get a like if they're Silent Suzuka, for example, and they get a very strong skill from one of their secret events. This is probably not a good scenario for them to run in. Obviously, they're still going to be able to, but they're not going to reap the benefits of their secret events. So, yeah. And the special spark from this is called Climax Scenario, which gives stamina and guts when inherited. That's similar. Is that similar to Unity Cup? Hold on. Let me check that real quick. Let's go. Okay, chat. I will cut the recording here, and I will be right back. I'm gonna go check something. Well, it turns out I can't find it. But I think the Unity Cup also gives stamina and guts, from what I remember off the top of my head. But yeah, that is the new scenario, Trackblazer, Start of the Climax. Or TB. I'm just going to refer to it as TB. This scenario is going to be very difficult. If you don't know when to race, how to utilize the mechanics, the items. It's going to be a little bit rough, but luckily, that's what these guides are for. And I will be doing a live playthrough of this scenario once it gets released. So come over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/EvanAxel if you want to see me do a live playthrough of this. It's going to be very fun, and we'd love to have you. Finally, I have a little bit of a training plan that I've came up. This is going to basically be the game plan that I'm going to try my best to emulate, at least when I first play the game. So during pre-debut or junior year, I'm going to go after bonds and training facilities. I'm going to try to level up the director to at least 1 stock, get 60 GP, probably prioritize G1s, although I think you only have access to 2 G1 races during junior year, so might mostly do G2s or G3s. Might do extra races for more shop coins. And I'm probably gonna stock up a ton of not stock up, but use the carrot barbecue item a lot before I hit junior year. Just so that I can get my friendships to orange as quick as possible. And hopefully I'll have enough coins to buy some notebooks, some notepads, some manuals, and some manuals and some scrolls throughout the run, not just in here, but also in these two. And basically, this is where the scenario is going to kick off. Classic year. If I don't see a rainbow, I'm racing. I'm going to buy and use the Vital Sign drinks as well as the Bitter Shot to bring my energy back up. And use the Cupcake to bring my mood back up. I'm going to be racing to hit 300 GP minimum. And if it's Haru or Kuren-chan, I think you only need 200. I'm gonna prioritize G1 and rival races because there's a lot more G1s in this, which gives you the most points. And doing so, hopefully that will get the director bond to blue. Summer camp shouldn't be any different from UC and URA. Gonna want to use the training bonus items as well as the prayer amulet to get 4 straight trainings of summer camp. And if I don't see a rainbow, I'm going to use a whistle. And if I still don't see a rainbow, I'm going to race. And then I'm going to follow that same pattern into senior year, where I'm going to continue racing until racing for the 300 GP, buy vital signs and energy increasing items, get the director bond to 3 green stocks at least. Then, right before the TSC, the Twinkle Star Climax, I'm going to use all of the notepads, manuals, and scrolls that I've stocked up on during my run. And I don't know, I'm not entirely sure if there are individual training turns before each one. But in the case that there is or isn't, if I have enough shop coins for the fast learner hats, I'm going to take that right before the last one. And then hopefully win. And then profit with the amount of skill points that I have at the end. And yeah, that is going to be it for the Trackblazer video. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Let me know what you think of Trackblazer. Let me know if you're ready, if you're excited, if you're not excited, if you're scared to make your Uma feel decrepit and turn them into a shriveled up corpse with the amount of races you're gonna have them do. Man, I get a little sad when I have to make them do 3 consecutive races. Like, having to do 5, like, I've seen some race schedules. There's, like, you're gonna have to run races, like, 10 times in a row, maybe. So like this is gonna be scary. But yeah, thank y'all so much for coming. Thank y'all for watching. Remember to eat well, to drink well, to sleep well. Remember that you're loved and you matter, and have yourself a great day.